prima facie, which is my legal jargon, and it ends there. The show is called Cock and Bull. This Thursday evening, 6 p.m. And we have the usual suspects on. Before we go into all that, I just want to mention once again something I've noticed. Not for me to comment on other people's figure, physiques, and all. I mean, it's really shallow to do that beyond a point. But having said that, the 100cc bike was a brilliant piece of machinery for third world countries. I accept that. But it cannot sustain a buffalo or a rhinoceros or two hippopotami. So you have to remember, when you buy that kind of bike and you weigh about 360, 400 pounds, the bike just sort of dissolves under you. It just disappears. There's nothing left. And it looks like it's going to break into pieces. I spent 20 minutes alongside a guy stuck in traffic in Parel today in the afternoon. And he was just all over his bike. They were like, I mean, it was not only ugly, it was evil after some time. It was like the machine was being tortured. So again, aesthetics is not that important in the world. I mean, up to a point, yes, and beyond that, it really is the shallow thing. But I'll say this: it's a 100cc bike. Just like you don't have an elephant sit on a bicycle, except in the old days in the circuses when they didn't have cars, so they had to use the bicycle. It just doesn't make sense to apply that much pressure on a 100cc. Why can't a guy that size? I have no problem with that size and him being fat. Why can't he just get the appropriate bike? It's like when you see those really, really large women, and again, this is not sexist, inside these really tight jeans, which they've spent 14 to 20 minutes to get into with the help of three or four other people, because each leg is like a country's GDP, which has to increase slowly. It's not simple or easy to do. So I'm just saying, this is just my personal opinion, and of course, please don't take it too seriously. But if you're really large, 100cc bike, unfair, not fair, don't do that. And now let's resume the formal part of our show with our real host, Silverie, Antariksh, who's never paying attention, and Amit Doshi, whose beard has grown long in these days of Taliban regime Afghanistan.
I
Perhaps
I
a visit
tried
is
to fit in.
necessary.
I
You
tried to
could.
fit in.
Have you noticed one thing? This was brought to me by one of the great leaders of our time, Kunal Vijayakar, that apparently, I don't know if he's correct, all the Taliban leaders have black beards. And mind you, many of them are in their 70s and more.
That is
But
true.
their beards are
Yeah,
very black. That's a
the
huge sign
colors
of
of their hair.
vanity,
Yeah,
which
yeah,
yeah, if that's true, I mean, hello. Suddenly I'm thinking,
yeah.
I mean, everybody's got their own, forget my fat guy on the bike. Everybody's got their own standards. It's like, I mean, you're covered completely. There's nothing, you only see glasses sometimes, but you see a little bit of beard peeking through, and it's black. And the guy can hardly stand.
Did you
Wow.
see the photographs of the Taliban on those paddle boats? It was hilarious.
Yeah.
It was hilarious, man.
Doesn't it give you an idea for a comedy show? You take
Uh
people
huh.
from a medieval period and you put them in modern sort of urban planning sort of places, and like take them to Disney World, for example. You can just imagine. I mean, there the beard will turn white. If they get one of those rides where, I mean, they can really. I mean, you may be a terrorist, but they can be very scary. What is this? You're showing the pictures.
I'm
Yeah,
showing you the picture. Yeah.
I think it
Like,
also helped their mood. Less people were killed and more less women shot that particular day.
yeah,
Yeah.
this was. I mean, like I'm just looking at this, and this is hilarious, man. It's such a
Yeah.
weird juxtaposition.
But
But
what
here's a
beautiful
question.
countryside, though. Just
But no,
Well,
but
Afghanistan is
here's the
beautiful,
question:
man.
do you
uh,
really need to carry your anti-aircraft missile with you on a paddle boat with your pals? I mean, I mean, just imagine you just say, hey, you just turn to the guy and say, okay, Latif, my turn to row. No, it's so dangerous. Could have been a normal conversation.
okay.
Yeah. I'm glad we saw the gym pictures as well. We're finding humor in this horrible situation, but
Yeah.
really, they actually, there is a bit of a quandary, and people are not really looking at it from this perspective. And the quandary for them is they do want to be accepted. Suddenly, this 2.0 Taliban wants to be accepted by the world,
They
so to speak,
they just fight
yet
for a
not
UN
lose
seat.
their.
They just
There
fight
you
for
go.
with their Afghanistan UN seat. They're trying to claim that Afghanistan
So
UN seat, and now
there's a cross
UN is like,
purpose
no, not
dilemma.
yet, as of right now at least.
Give us some more time. Do some
Yeah,
more paddling.
just
We'll get back to you. Yeah. God, but it's. I mean, in the end, what's going to happen? I don't know. So you legitimize, you do that, and then then it's almost okay to have the. And then again, if you're a real Democrat, in a sense, who are you to tell someone how to run their country? There are many people who think of that. Why American foreign policy is wrong, because you don't look at the world as a global village. You look at the world as separate entities, and you say, look, it's not your business to go into another man's land. I'm not
Well,
saying that. I'm saying what people think. Yes, Amit, go ahead. I know I've
yeah,
scratched
no,
the
no,
bum. Go
No, no,
ahead.
no, it's okay, man. Listen, everybody to each their own, and as long as that's the libertarian credo, right? In some ways, as long as you're not bothering me, do whatever you want to. But the thing is that not bothering me part is not the part that they're. Why are they walking around with guns? They're walking around with guns because they do want to bother people, right? Otherwise, why would they walk around with guns?
No, but the argument is that I have to respect the political entity of the other country and
Hmm.
understand that as a true democrat, although I want to preach democracy, I have to accept their values because that's also egalitarian in a sense
I
that I'm
don't buy that.
accepting. Um, I can't come and teach the old way the colonial is coming to educate the native and make him a better person. That's the wrong thinking, in a
I
sense.
uh, I agree with that in theory, because but the
So
thing
you
is
want
that
so then you're coming back to the same argument,
no, no, no.
almost like
In
a
theory,
metaphor about freedom of speech and freedom of what is on the internet, where you say that no, either everything is free or nothing is free. It's like that.
uh,
So
it
so,
yeah,
he-
but
so
I mean,
here
so it's not absolute. So again, so the thing is that the delivery mechanism of the Enlightenment, right, has always been colonialism or colonial thought, which is problematic. That is the delivery mechanism, but the theories behind the Enlightenment, the idea
is
behind the
it not
Enlightenment,
racist then for big white man to come with big gun
it
stick
is.
and sweep the countryside and teach you democracy and human values
I,
and
I,
sexism is wrong
so
and homosexuality is okay and whatever?
So it is. I wouldn't call it racism, right? I would call it at the same. Again, the thing is that just because the
It's
messenger
a
is
it's a
unpalatable doesn't
preaching
mean the
down.
message is not correct, right? In this
See,
case, I
that's
mean,
the
like,
crux.
what
That's
are
the
the what are
crux of the issue. So
oh,
then we do have a code of right and wrong, and we do have
we
a code
do.
of what is a stepping beyond the line, and we do have a code. So then there is, you know what I'm
So
saying? At the end of the day, there are rules.
I'm a big
Then,
believer in
then
the
we're
golden
fucked.
rule. I
We're
believe the
fucked.
golden rule completely. I think that that's
Go
the way
go ahead.
that's why you should. No, the golden rule, right? I mean, like, do unto others as you would have them do to you, right? I mean, like, that is the golden rule, right? I mean, like, and what that
But
when you
but in
extrapolate
that
that
sense, you
out,
want them to leave you alone, so you leave them alone in a sense,
yeah,
and you
exactly.
don't
So
overstate your and impose yourself on somebody else, which is a sense of domination, aggression, which is as medieval as what they are doing inside their country,
your
but
right to
on their
punch ends
territory.
at my nose, essentially. Your right to
Yeah,
punch ends at
yeah,
my nose,
yeah.
right? That I believe in this like fairly like strongly, and I think that this is true. As long as I'm happy for you to do whatever you want to, as long as you do not impinge on the rights of others. The second you become paternalistic and choose to impinge on the rights of others, at that point in time, I have a problem.
So the fact that they are medieval torturers, let's call them for what they are, and let's not try and honeycomb
Yeah.
all these things. I mean, there's no women in the cabinet already.
Hmm.
Schools have been segregated. Let's see what they do with the women's sports teams. It's all looking like rubbish. Homosexuality, please God help you. I mean, there are all kinds of fine arts which will disappear for, and all that. So what do we do? How do you accept it?
What? No, of course not, because they are. You can't
No,
do
but
this on a
what
country
they're
level.
doing is
The
that
the
your
rule is
nose
not
is
on
not your nose is not in their country,
the
but they are
rule
blooding the nose of people in their country. So,
inside the
so,
country.
so
It's an
Yeah,
individual rights thing. It's not a country rights thing.
yeah.
Countries should
bro,
not have rights by individuals have
then the whole
rights.
political
You
entity
as
has the game of politics has collapsed as we speak, and we're looking at
huh,
general global sort of lines of humanitarian lines, if you want to call it that,
yeah.
which are imposed basically by the West and Western doctrine. Um, hey, I'm
Again,
a big
just
fan of
because
Western
But
doctrine. I'm just putting
the
it
yeah,
out
basic
there.
things,
just because an
but the
idea comes
basic
from
things are like
somewhere.
are very basic, right? Like some things are like right to life, right to practice what you want to practice, like your education or your
But if you can
job
just
or
step
something.
out of your
But those things,
emotional cortex for a second and think, um, the right to impose is wrong, even though what
It
you're
is.
saying is right in a sense. I don't know how to explain it to you.
No, no,
Maybe
you're
like when
exactly right. You don't have a right to impose. It
if my
is
neighbors are fighting in their building, it's not really my business to go and break that up and help them.
so you're saying even
Technically,
uh
imposing freedom is still imposing something.
no. So
but what
that's where
Amit is saying,
governments,
if a young girl is being molested or raped in the next building, and it's a building this thing that's happening, he still has to go in and save her
of
because the
course,
morality comes first over the
Yeah,
geographical entity and the politics of the two buildings which are apart and have separate rules.
Mhm. I
Comes down to
yes,
that.
100%,
I,
100%.
It sounds correct, but I'm just saying, if you're a true Democrat, how can you impose yourself on somebody else?
Because I am
They,
a
they,
Republican, I am not a Democrat. I believe in representational democracy. I don't believe in individual democracy.
so then we need a world order. We have to stop lying about
We
everything. It's
do
like
need
the
a world
Kanga
order.
League, okay? And we follow certain rules and regulations. Please, doggy, don't break my torch. Uh, dogs, no, he's
Okay,
not egalitarian at all. Uh,
let me
But
give you a
by
thought
that right,
experiment. Just sorry, Antariksh, 1 second. Let me give you a thought
yeah,
experiment. Right, when India was conceived of as a country, okay, we're talking about probably like 1800s, sometime like that, right? That's when India as a country, British conceived of India, but it was conceived of as a country as in the 1800s. How long did it take you to go from one end of India to the other end of India when the British was
at that time,
at that time?
but it was not quite Kanyakumari to Kashmir. It was like
Whatever it
part.
was, even if it was smaller, but it was Lahore to Calcutta, right?
Thanks to the British Rail, you're saying we were able to
Yeah,
go faster,
it was no, no. I'm saying how long did that take? Even with the rail, how long did that take? 3 days
east to west.
to make it from Lahore to Calcutta in the 1800s, assuming
It,
there is a clean railway line. 3 days at least, 4 days.
three
It
days
takes
if
three
Kunal
days
is
now.
driving, 4 days. Yeah.
It takes
Uh,
3 days now, right? How long does it take for me to go to the furthest distance in the US, in the world today, from where I am? A day? There is no
uh,
place in the world that's further than a day away from me.
Rio took me about 24 hours. My son has still
There you
not
go.
reached his campus. 4 days
That's
have passed.
because he's on in halt and whatever, right?
Yes,
But
true.
the furthest from one spot to the other, you're talking about basically I can get
See,
the from India for us, right? Probably the furthest place that we could go
Amit,
to
what's the
is
point? We've understood that modernization and
uh,
globalization has helped this. So your point is what? That we have to live together and this is what happens.
that yeah, no, I mean like that
The world is
countries are
connected.
obsolete. World is connected. Countries as a
Ah,
system to organize is
imagine there's
obsolete.
no country. It's easy
Yes.
if you try. I see, I see.
Nation states are obsolete.
No, in that case, then we go in and wipe out the Taliban on Tuesday afternoon.
That's what I'm
And by
saying,
evening,
dude.
we watch the IPL in peace. No
That's what I'm
question.
saying.
Now,
Nation
why did
states
they
are
do
obsolete.
that? Who's in charge of
Nations
foreign policy?
nation
Hey,
states are no longer like a valid kind of are not valid, but nation states are no longer the way that the modern world should be organized. It's a legacy system that needs to be up here, that needs some sort of resolution. I don't know what that is. I'm not talking about violent revolution, but it's an obsolete system that that we are working within.
uh, what does Winston Churchill say about democracy? It's the
The
worst form
worst
of
takes
government.
away
Huh?
except for every other.
Except for every other. Yeah, I think that's the correct thing in the end. It is the worst form of government except for every other. Unbelievable. Yeah, because you really, I mean, it's terrible when you think about it because it's just got so many variables and makes no sense. And see, deep down from a moral perspective, I still think it's not your business. But then again, I mean, they're raping women and kids and killing
Yeah.
people, and I mean, then let's talk about happier things. Uh, the prime minister was in the USA uh,
Yes.
because all the malls are open and it's a good place to be. Yeah.
someone had a
Huh?
someone had a great comment.
He went for soaping. Uh,
So someone
Bolo
had a great comment
Navratri.
saying
Uh,
कि, during the visit to the US this time, Namo was in the conundrum whether to hug or not hug the
yeah,
president.
we did that in the show as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, but we
Oh,
also
really?
did this gag in Gujarati. Joe Biden. Then because that's his name. They go Biden Joe. Huh? Then Joe Biden. Yeah, but the problem with that is because of the pandemic, all the world leaders are excused from not hugging. In fact, they shouldn't. But what do
Yeah.
you guys think of Bolsonaro, who actually went to the UN thing and was asked to not to eat with the others because he refused to get himself vaccinated, so he doesn't have the double vaccine cert. So he had to go and eat on the streets of New York. I thought that was
Okay.
fantastic. I
That
mean,
is
how
quite
macho is
interesting. Yeah.
he? So he
Yeah.
said he's got it once. He said my immune system is in Portuguese, of course. I'm like an alpha male immune system. I'm impregnable now. Nothing can touch me, and no COVID. So he's not
That's like
taken
Donald
double
Trump
vaccine.
though. That's what Donald Trump was also saying, no? When he got COVID. Like
Yeah, and after
after he
getting
landed on
COVID,
the
he almost said COVID
I'm
died. So
impenetrable. I'm
COVID
invincible, he
fought
said.
me, and now COVID died. Basically, yeah. But these guys, but Bolsonaro, Brazil is what the fifth largest country in the world. At one time, it was a rising economic superpower who's taken a bit of a beating in the last few years. But this guy is, I mean, Amit, your
He's
comments because as a
nothing. He's ballsy as hell, right? I mean, there are a few of these guys out there, right? There's Bolsonaro. There's the Filipino guy. There's Putin, of course. There's Xi. There's
no, but Putin has taken the vaccine. He's
oh
been
no,
a
in
little
terms of vaccine, yes. No,
uh,
no. So in terms of
or
taking
the
the
macho
vaccine,
giri,
yes.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, but
The
that
macho
macho
giri is
giri,
also
right?
an avatar that you want
That
to put out
so I
sometimes.
read a really interesting article. Do you know? One of the most popular blogs in the world that used to exist a year ago, which has now moved to Substack, used to be called Star Codex. or that might not be exactly right, but it's written by a guy named Scott Alexander, who's a
Just keep the comment
psychiatrist.
section open. They correct us very fast. Those
Okay, all right.
bastards out there are just so full of themselves. The moment you make a
So
mistake, boom, they care on to you. I'm like, don't worry about it. In seconds. Yeah.
this guy wrote a review of a Narendra Modi book, where he was basically kind of going into it, and turned out that the Narendra Modi book was a hagiography. So, but he was talking about it. He was making a lot of comparisons, and the person that he found the most comparisons with in terms
Ouch.
of
Be
like
careful.
global leaders,
Huh?
no, the Turkish leader, Erdogan.
He's not known to be a Democrat from any
He's
angle.
not. No, but so that is the reason, right? Because again, he was mentioning as part of his article that he has a friend who studies political movements carefully and gets very irritated when people randomly throw around the word fascism. That Donald
Hmm.
Trump is a fascist, XYZ person is a fascist, this person's a
Relative
fascist.
fascist.
Yeah,
It's because the country
and
doesn't allow you to be more fascist than you can be.
that,
But
that
that's
exactly.
also there, right? Checks and balance.
But but what this political science said is the place where I am worried a little bit about fascism is India and the BJP and Narendra Modi and this. So so he wanted to read about this, and so
Ouch.
he read this book and he wrote this really long and interesting comparison, right, about how different things connected to each other. Like basically, Erdogan and Modi both were parts of political wing of religious parties. They were both
Yeah.
initially administrators, very good administrators with fantastic PR. So
Yeah.
they came off as like the most amazing administrators imaginable.
Yeah.
And basically, that's the route that they both took to
Religious
power.
bent, bureaucratic mindset,
Yeah,
proven in the business of organization. Yeah, that is
correct.
there.
Yeah,
And aggressive.
and
They're both
aggressive.
aggressive.
And
Not necessarily, I
yes,
mean, aggressive, like physically aggressive, but aggressive in the way working style.
in
They're
the way
both
that
very
they look at
aggressive.
this.
Narendra Modi finishes the. I actually would have gotten along well with him. He finishes meetings in 10, 15 minutes apparently and walks out as quickly as possible. He doesn't, he's not into time wasting. So imagine you have a PM who likes to say, "Chal, abhi bol, kya chal raha hai?" One of those hours and hours before you come to nuclear disarmament, which is the topic of the day. Sorry, yeah. So
Now,
what
also
else?
personally incorruptible, right?
Yeah,
Neither of them are personally corrupt,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
So I mean, like just a
Those are
whole
very
bunch of
dangerous leaders,
very
really.
no, but I mean, like really interesting how these parallels play out, right? In the sense that this is the playbook as we go forward for how democracies start having issues around freedom. The playbook is this, right? The populism that we keep talking about. This honestly, this really clarified a lot of that, the populism stuff that we were discussing. I think last week when we were talking about this, right?
Hmm.
And I was just like, wow, this is really
But this
interesting.
is
I was
purely
watching,
coincidental. It's not like one has he's younger, so RPM, so
right?
not
No,
by
so
much.
I don't think that it was like because the rises were
Yeah,
parallel, right? In that
yeah.
sense, but I mean, like it is a playbook. I
I
thought that
don't
was
know what
really interesting.
I don't know what to say out of a little bit of fear and a little bit of whether endorse it or not. I'm trying to. That's why I'm trying to find good qualities to balance counterbalance immediately and make sure if you're all in the good place. Yeah, I've always thought about even with friends when you know the vice. And the vice doesn't just have
Uh-huh.
to be drinking, smoking, and womanizing the big three or whatever. But when you know the vice, I think you're much safer with the person because I think we're all fallible sort of human beings. Let's say Amit, we know you like to gamble a little bit. Once you know
Mhm.
that's like your hack or whatever, I just think that's it. We don't
Yeah.
worry too much. He's not going to be a molester or something else. Very few people are like criminally versatile. But the thing about leaders who don't have vices, are incorruptible, no material instinct in that sense, and no acquisitive nature in that sense either. So you can't relate to them because what the hell do they want? And then you realize they only want
Yeah.
one thing: absolute power.
Yeah.
And that is the worst vice of all. What is a friggin' drunkard? He drinks 5 drinks and falls on the floor and abuses somebody's mom. I mean, that's his crime. That's it. You know, absolute powers where people are just destroyed and villages go, countries disappear, races wiped out. I mean, that's how can you compare that with the vices we're talking? Gambling, for God's sake. Raj Kundra is in because he's got a gambling habit. He's out now. Oh, that's horrible. So I'm really worried about that. So please find a vice if you're going to be a leader. That's what I think. And then we vote for you. That's why Yeltsin, one of the greatest. True, he could have by mistake pressed the nuclear button because it's right there. And it's like, one more at the top of his game. Can you believe the most powerful nuclear power in the world and the guy is drunk out of his mind all day? It wasn't like a stereotype thing, like a exaggeration. He was drunk. He was drunk or he
I
was
know.
really drunk. He was never not drunk.
But that time, I mean, like there are
Atal Bihari
numerous
Vajpayee,
political
last few
figures.
months,
Yeah,
he,
there
he,
no,
he
but there are numerous
wasn't
figures
well.
throughout history who are known as like they had drinking issues, right? I mean, like Churchill had drinking issues, right? I mean, like I think that was
Oh,
something that had been heard.
yeah. I mean, he never
Yeah,
stopped drinking.
yeah.
He
So I
stopped.
mean,
That's why he thought they could win. Everybody was like, "What? The Luftwaffe's here?" It was like, I don't know what accent I'm using. It was like, "I'm so drunk. We'll win. We'll still win. Don't worry." And they did somehow. Yeah. Yeah. What is that guy, that American pastor, the civil rights guy who in Guyana killed 946, made them do the
oh yeah,
suicide?
Jim Jones,
Jim
Jim
Jones.
Jones.
Now, what's
Yes.
that? Tell me, what's his thing? Okay.
So
So
he was
on the
just a nut
stuff,
job, no?
yeah, but also power that you can get people to
Yeah.
do this. You had trials. He had trial. You know the story, Silvery? This guy was a pastor, a bit of a civil rights sort of guy. Also, I don't know how sincere he was about it, because I think more than half of the guys were
I
African
don't think he
American.
was. I don't think he was a civil rights guy, was he?
No, no, he adopted his one son. I remember reading the interview and watching the interview on YouTube also.
Oh,
One son is black and this and that. All that was there.
okay.
This is the 60s and 70s. But
Right.
at the end of the day, they shot a congressman in there. He built his own 10,000 acres of land or something somewhere in Guyana, cut off area, and he had about 1,000 supporters, and he was living there. And then they shot a congressman, to cut a long story short, who came visiting from America, was trying to take some of them back with him, and he made them commit mass suicide, including
By
himself. Everyone.
cyanide, with cyanide apparently it
With
says.
lace cyanide, Kool-Aid and
Yeah,
cyanide together.
Yeah.
909 individuals.
There you got
Damn,
it. You got it. That's it. Now you tell me, what
that's
kind of person
crazy.
does that? Wouldn't it be better if he was just a drunkard, or
Like someone
just
really
did drugs on
charismatic
his
though.
own?
Have to be super
Okay, okay,
charismatic.
all that. Now look, you
With
want
so
to
many
humanize these guys. Hitler was a great speaker, but as Norm Macdonald said, really, I don't want that. I mean, really. No, how can you take that guy seriously? And if you think about it, you put him on mute and just watch his hand actions. If you ever do in any of his speeches, it's like great comedy.
No, that's why the Great Detective worked the way it did. No,
Yeah,
I mean,
because he didn't have to act. He was. It's
yeah.
Unis Beast. It's that close. It's art and ridiculous life. Wow,
There
that's
was
just.
there was a Delhi thing, right? Remember in Delhi a few years back there was this family that had gotten murdered with mass suicide, or
Yeah,
not
yeah, yeah, yeah.
murdered.
Not
A family which had
during
gone
the
through.
podcast we've
That,
discussed this. This is
we have,
3 years, I think, not
yeah,
more.
I think we have.
Oh,
Yeah,
So it's a cult in Delhi, and the entire family kill themselves. It's similar.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, exactly. So something like that only. Like 11
So,
people of the family were one
these
day
are
found like
vices.
hanging
When the
from the
patriarch of
house.
that group who causes this
yeah.
to happen, these are vices. Really, what are the vices we're talking about? They're nothing. I mean, they're not nothing. People suffer and families suffer, but I'm saying this is so scary,
Yeah.
and that's
Oh
all
yeah,
you
we are
want.
talking about. I just remembered they're making a Netflix series about it, a
There
docu
you go.
series about this family being murdered. So that's how I know. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Correct.
Interesting.
And these crazy nut jobs like Hitler, at the end of the day, their thirst for power, they don't care. They don't care if the country goes down. That's not important. The ego is more important. So it's
Yeah.
very well documented how he refused to spend money on arms and ammunition. That's Rommel and him fell out and all that. While he wanted to whatever money was left as they were losing 43 onwards, he wanted to go put them in the concentration camps, kill more Jews. This is the kind of nut job.
But
Forget the
that's
war. They were going to lose anyway. Let's just kill more. So I'm sorry, these are very scary things. So please have a vice. Again, the guy had no vice. He was
yeah,
more or
that's
less a
true. Actually, Hitler
vegetarian.
was also
He
yeah.
didn't drink anything. He was not really interested in food. I mean, he pretended to like opera and art, but like, how much did he really like it? He does what I do when my wife takes me to exhibitions. You count till 10, except in German, so it's longer. Eins, zwei, drei, vier, fünf, gut, six, six, seven, eight, nine, then gut, and that's it in your back. Simple thing. If you ever marry an artist, guys, okay, I have been to exhibitions, and a honeymoon was in Paris, and I got exhibitionitis. It was so painful because you go into gallery after gallery. Now she's well learned and researched, and also she knows her painters and all. So for her, it's a different ball game. Or it's like we say Amit to the NBA, and or an NBA All Stars game, and he's going berserk. So for her, it's different. But for me, I mean, it was like a blind guy in a library. I mean, I was like, why? And some of the paintings just they mean nothing. Some are like less than nothing, but some are just nothing. It's just ridiculous. And too many fat women. Not nothing against fat women, but these French guys and their fat women. They just paint fat women. It's like I don't know why would they do that? Nobody explained that to me. Every third painting was a fat woman.
Okay.
Where have we gone with this? We were
I
discussing
don't know where
nutcases.
you went with it at all.
I
Yeah.
talking about basketball though, if we should address something, Amit sent me the story today. Sachin Gupta has been an Indian has been
Hmm.
made an operational head of a basketball team
Wow.
called the Minnesota Timberwolves. This is like the first for an Indian, a
Yeah, I'm sure
person of
the
Indian
IT
origin.
heads of the teams are all Indians. What are you saying?
No, not
Right?
that many. So this guy is really well known for a couple of reasons, right? So one is he's the first this. He also made like a something called the ESPN NBA trade machine. So trades in the NBA are complicated. You got to match salaries and stuff like that. He used to work for ESPN, and he was the guy who made this thing. So he's really well known for that as well. The
He
only
made like
prominent
a tableau where you could look at the which ones will
it
match with
was
what,
yeah. So basically, if I want to do this and
like
I
a
want to do
menu.
this, will this work or not?
Oh,
Yeah,
this
Oh,
typical
you,
Indian mind, finding the
you
maths in the art form. Very good, very good. Yeah.
because you have to basically salaries have to match.
So how much would he
Uh,
get paid?
as a general manager, maybe like $1 million a year or something like that. Maybe yeah,
That's
something like
it.
that. I would yeah, I'm a general manager. How much? Like the most highly paid general. He's a first time GM. The most highly paid GMs I think get paid like 3 million, 4 million a year.
But some equity,
Huh? Yeah, you're
some stock
GM.
option.
I don't think equity.
Ooh,
At
ouch.
least I
Speaking
don't
of
think
sport,
so.
let's go to one more story which you didn't have, but I think I just remember. I think we should talk about it. New Zealand's
yes.
tour to Pakistan, which got cancelled last week. No one's talking about the whole controversy there. It's been since 2009 since an international team went. West Indies went for 2 games and Zimbabwe for 2 games, but were very low profile. But more or less, they've had no home cricket, which kills any sport. You know, if you don't have home
Yeah.
sport happening, international sport. So this is
This
big.
was
New Zealand.
there
It was
was that
last week.
this
So there
no,
was
but
a
this was
bomb
because of
scare.
Sri Lanka thing that happened
Yeah,
way
that was
back when.
2009 when the attack
Okay.
happened and 5 players got injured. 2 policemen got killed and the driver or something got killed, if I remember correctly. Now, there was a bomb threat. So the day of the match, the first of the 3 one-day games they were going to play in Rawalpindi, the day of the match, they pulled out New Zealand and they walked out. So it was the egg on the face of Pakistan, and we all feel very bad about it because, you know, we have to support Pakistan cricket. I've always believed, let's not get into the politics of it. And Imran called up, we discussed that a little bit, called up Arden, what's her first name? Jacinta. Jessica, Jennifer. Comment section,
Jacinta,
please help. Jacinta. So Jas and Imi had a chat, and Imi with his Oxford accent and all that, you know, tried to convince her to let them, you know, stay. But you know what she said? Like, I can't interfere. In the West, apparently they have this system where you don't interfere really. Well, you just use influence. You call up and say, "Sorry, it's cancelled. I'm your boss." That's it. Anyway, got a long story short. Now, the information minister has come up with a story saying that the threat which the phone call that they got or the email that they got, I can't remember what it was, or email, it originated in India. So it's an Indian
Some
guy who's trying to
some
screw
rapper,
up the
no?
series. I've not followed the story after that, but in the morning when I
Yeah.
was trying to research before shooting the show, information minister has gone on record saying this is India's hand and words to that effect.
that's
Yeah.
the
Okay,
So
so
British
someone is
the British information minister is saying this.
no
no, the
Indian,
Pakistan minister.
Pakistan
Pakistan
information
minister.
minister.
So that
The
there's a
what
credibility
what someone
problem
is saying
there.
in the chat. Someone has said in the chat
Oh,
that Pak Minister Fawad Chaudhry blaming
oh,
Yeah,
Mumbai rapper Om Prakash Mishra for New Zealand calling off the series.
okay.
yeah. Well,
Yeah, I'm sorry, but Pakistan ain't exactly in a position to throw stones about anything.
Yeah, true.
no, but I'm
Like
saying,
nothing.
let's say Om Prakash Mishra, who is arguably the greatest rapper the world has ever seen, to be informed immediately to vacate position, or whoever the hell is the top guy,
OPM.
did it. Did it. Why did they panic so much? Because there'll be so many hoaxes also. There's no way you can play a match in these kind of countries, right? I mean, you want to have a more credible sort of thing than just an email, or is an email enough?
Well, no, I think an email should not be enough. At least I don't think it should.
I mean, yeah,
But
they
again,
should
who
be.
knows? I don't know, man. I just don't know.
They,
You can't not take this seriously either, right? Because let's say something did happen and they didn't take it seriously, then all of us will be like, "Hey, you got fucking
You
warned. Why did
won.
you not take this
Yeah.
seriously?"
Yeah, that's true, but
Mhm.
they ran off 3 1 days, 3 T20s. England's tour again similar. The next month cancelled, so they've lost a lot of money, TV rights, sponsorships, advertising, promotions, all gone, and not to mention the cricket gone, the fans, the intangible loss to the fans, etc., etc. So I'm just wondering if it's just like a hoax, and mostly it's going to be a hoax. Who's going to tour then? There will be these hoaxes, or there'll be these
Yeah.
semi quasi sort of threats, but they had like so much security. No one could, not even a fly could come next to the teams.
But again, I mean, like, if you are a athlete, right, of any nature, do you want to play in a place where you are doubting your personal safety?
Arey Baba,
I
the
mean, like,
butter
I don't
chicken
know.
in Rawalpindi is worth dying for. Oh no, I didn't mean it that way. I'm just saying. You know, I mean, these are just phrases. Strike it off the record, my lord. Strike it off the record. Yeah, yeah. But I feel
uh,
really bad because I don't see Pakistan's cricket has fallen, no doubt about it. And
yeah,
unless they get to play home cricket, I mean, there's no way they're going to get better. And we are way ahead of them now in all three forms. For example, I would say there are 4 countries which are ahead of Pakistan by a big margin, and then they are in the next 4, where they could
but then
very well be in the top 2.
that's an economy thing, right? As countries' economies grow, sports becomes more and more important, and more resources are deployed towards
But
sports.
cricket has always had this big brother approach where the top countries sort of help the others. That's how because we're just a group,
Yeah,
a
sure,
small group. So, England
agreed.
and New Zealand not running away. India will never play there and not in the next few years for sure.
Listen,
So,
if you
who's left?
If you were to
They've
ask
had
me, then
Zimbabwe and Bangladesh, with due respect, that's not filling the stands.
I agree, but I just think there should be more IPL like leagues, right? I mean, like as you know, I we just discussed this, right? Nation state, obsolete form of governance. Why are we having these arbitrary kind of teams that are there? I just find it,
That's true,
I think,
because
yeah,
your point is well made, because the PSL has done really well, done well
yeah,
for them. Is the second most watched cricket exhibition after IPL
mm,
and arguably the Big Bash. So that they have got right.
mm,
We will give them that.
yeah,
And the
no,
foreigners do travel. They have foreigners in the sides
yeah.
for that, same as us, four per team. So that's all working. But this is well, okay. I take
I
your
don't know.
point. So
No, so
cancel
I was
international
thinking.
cricket. Just have franchise cricket. Is what you're saying.
I would say I was actually thinking about this, right? Let's say the IPL, let's say the PSL, let's take the Big Bash, right? How many of these teams are there? Right? There are in
Total.
most of these leagues. Each of these teams, each of
So
these
they
leagues
have
probably have,
8 and 8, and we will have
we have
10 now.
we have
Yeah,
10. Okay, so that's,
yeah.
we're talking about
8 and 8 or 6.
26 teams. 26 teams in these three. England also has its own league,
Yeah.
right? Which I
They've
think
just
also
started
has
the
like eight.
100. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, they also say another eight teams there. So we're talking about 36
West Indies,
teams.
the CPL is pretty good. It's doing well. The
Okay.
timings are a problem for Indian audience, but otherwise, it's for that part of the world is doing well.
My
Yeah.
question.
And with unpronounceable names from different parts of the world, which you will not be able to relate to, but you'll still like it. Like how we scream for Liverpool, having never heard the name before.
Listen, still
Huh.
do international, right? European like football does international, but the clubs are the main thing, right?
They only play two
International is
tournaments:
occasional.
the Copa America, the Euro Cup, and the World Cup. Okay,
That's it. So
that's it. Nothing
that's
else
how
counts.
cricket should.
Otherwise,
That's how
it's all
cricket
club.
should be.
It's club, club, club. In
That's how
club, they have
cricket should be.
Champions League and things like that.
That's how cricket should
You're
be.
killing it, bro. You're breaking my heart. Don't break my heart, bro. Don't break my heart. I just saw that guy on the bike today, and my heart broke. I mean, it was so sad to see two tires there and two tires on the sides, and I mean, it was just sinking. It was like it was in water. It was sinking in front of me. I was stuck in a traffic signal. It was alongside for a long time. It was so unfair. And there was another, I think, Yamaha, those old-fashioned Yamaha hundreds nearby with a normalist built guy, and he was like 4 inches above this fellow, because there was no drop. Oof. I mean, 100cc bike was built by the Japanese for the Indians who are in the 50-kilo market, 50 to 60 kilos. Once you start going over that, you start looking wrong for that bike. Ah. The opposite, the converse is even more perverse for me is when I see small Indian guys with those handlebars and trying to, be the next, what's it called, the Nortons and the what's the famous one? Come on, the bike with the
The
handlebars,
Harley,
the
the Harley.
Harley. Yeah. And so then I think they've created the Harley Sport just for us Indian boys, which is a little smaller and less, because some of us couldn't reach the handlebars. We went up there, they bought it, and then they were like, help, help. weren't able to hang on to it. Yeah. All right. Enough posturing. Let's take a break and come back with more hard hitting topics, which we haven't even
Yes,
started. Yeah.
sure.
The break is over. The topics are ready. Silvery, the ball is in your court. You have
All right,
to start.
sure. So we have
Actually,
all. Yeah, yeah.
sorry.
Please go ahead.
Yeah, I was just saying we should do the ad. This is gonna
Oh
go
yeah,
tomorrow, right? We should do the ad.
Let's do the ad.
Let's do the ad.
We've got a
Cyrus, if you could
live
look at the
ad.
private chat. Yes, if you could look at the private chat.
I'm looking at the private chat. Nothing is there.
I'm telling you right now. One sec.
Okay.
Just check your phone now, Cyrus. It'll be there. And
Oh,
now you have it. Yeah, now you have it.
Amit Doshi, HTTP.
No,
No,
no, check
that's
my
not
phone.
me. Antariksh, check Antariksh.
Wait,
I
why
sent
have
you
you?
an article. I just
Oh,
sent you an article to read later.
you got to read more. Something. Oh, yeah. It's so difficult to understand so many things in tech world. Is that it?
Yes,
Yeah, yeah,
that's
that
it.
one. Yeah.
Oh, wow. And once again, it's one of those long ads, which is like a feature film, but you'll get your point across after 3 to 4 hours. Okay,
Yes.
good to know. Good to know. Oh my God. Oh, it's not that bad. Shall we go? Am I
Yes,
alone in
Yeah,
let's
the
yeah.
go.
ad, or you guys want to
You are
join in?
alone in the.
You
Well,
don't
I
want
think.
to,
Well, we
like,
could join in, but you could do it
we could be
alone
the
also.
PGs. We're three of us. Huh? Okay.
Why don't you do it by yourself?
Okay. I'll take C. Just get the
Go for
pitch,
it.
huh? Get the pitch right,
Okay.
guys. C.
Okay.
It's so difficult to understand so many things in the tech world. There's no better person than me to say this sentence. For once, I'm saying something with real sincerity. Well, like artificial intelligence, what is that? Really? It just sounds like science fiction, doesn't it? Then it says fake laugh. Give me a second. Throughout the MTV show, all I did was those fake laughs. Yeah. Luckily, though, Intel's digital readiness program empowers everyone with skill sets, mindsets, and tool sets to use in an AI fueled world so you don't end up like me. I should have read it once, right, before saying it. It's kind of mean. It's okay when I'm making fun, but now you're making fun of me making fun and pretending like I'm making fun. The Intel AI for Youth program is an initiative that guides today's youth to an understanding of AI. Mind you, today's youth. So how it is designed and why it's important today, all explained. Intel's been working with the CBSE, Ministry of Education, and the Government of India to empower today's youth to build social impact solutions while demystifying what AI is. Using big words, I'll tell you that. How do you take advantage of this? Purchase an Intel Core powered PC and you get free access to 80 plus hours of immersive and hands on training about I think you think it'll be enough for me, 80 plus hours or for certain sections. Yeah, we have to add a zero there. On completion of the program, along with a certificate, you get access to AI tool sets to put what you learn to good use. So don't wait. And then we have to put on our voiceover voice in the Michal Verma style with the two fingers. Future Bana wonderful by bringing home an Intel powered PC. Future Bana wonderful by bringing home an Intel powered PC. That's the Desi option because sometimes the reverse non-hip is hip. Isn't that the thing today?
That
Sometimes
is true.
I hear people doing that, and it's
Yep.
almost like they purposely gone with more vernacular feel. They sort of roughed it up. You know how you do that sometimes when you're
Yep.
in a lower class setting and you start speaking bad English, or purposely you lower your. I don't know why we do that.
You're.
It's
It's
disgustingly
called.
patronizing.
No, it's code switching. It's called code switching. It's the same thing we
Yeah,
talk about when people go with, like, you start talking to American people, the accent becomes a little American. You start talking to
yeah,
Australian,
yeah,
becomes a little
yeah,
Australian. You're trying to make people comfortable,
yeah, yeah, yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah,
And
yeah.
it's just a thing that
It's an
people
act
do.
of goodness apparently. But I'll
It's
tell
an
you one
act of
thing.
ego.
My good friend Shanaz, Treasury Wala, now Treasury, the Wala dropped off, I don't know, along with the pound. She's
Was
beautiful.
that
She's
just
eternally
Instagram?
pretty.
Was that just
I
Instagram, or
don't
is that
know,
like
but now
actually
she sent me a message with a full name one day about a year back, and it said Shanaz Treasury. And
interesting?
I did ask her what happened to the wala because I was like, I like the wala. I mean, what have we got as Parsis if we don't have our walas,
Yeah.
man? Wala is important. You don't take away the wala. The wala makes you have a cocktail conversation when you have nothing else to do. Oh, your treasury wala. That takes so long in introduction. Yeah. So that's her calling. She's really upset. Yeah. Yeah. So what were we talking about? I forgot my point also
Oh,
because you
about
guys.
Shehnaz. About Shehnaz
Yeah.
messaging you.
She's very pretty. Well, let's go with that. I can't remember what the point was, but yeah. So AI, I'm all into this, folks. I'm all into this. I mean, I'm getting there slowly. You got to understand that talking to youngsters is one thing because they pick it up really quickly. Talking to oldsters is a different thing altogether. Just from the quizzical body language reactions to the first thing you say to them, like "switch it on." Huh? It starts
Yeah.
from there, and then it's just the body language thing. And I always feel that you've got to get the right empathy level with the tutor. The tutor has to understand the student. The student is not going to be able to get off the blocks like some of the other students. And therein lies the tale. So if anybody out there wants to educate people of my age group and above, please understand it's not about actually teaching the skill as much as getting us to understand what you're saying, literally from the first step, which is going to take some time. Silvery is not amused. He doesn't care for old people. He hates them all.
No, no, I
Yeah,
understand.
yeah.
It's cool.
Uh,
But that's why
uh.
Intel has 80 plus hours, no? So 80 plus hours, there's a lot to consume if you want to be interested.
It's touch
If
and
you want to
go. I
get down
think
to the
with me it's
bottom.
touch and go. It's touch and go. Yeah. Yeah. Which is a
Are
great
we
name for
still
a
doing the ad?
laptop.
No,
Huh?
Are
no,
we
we're
still
done with
doing
the
the
ad.
ad?
No,
Oh,
Cyrus,
The
we're
let's
ad is
just
sort
go
of
for
over,
the
right?
ad.
extending. Yeah,
Yeah.
we are extending it
Yeah,
in terms of we've
we'll
given
let them
we're
know
still
now. I mean,
yeah,
we should let the brand know that the ad went on for 3.5 minutes instead of like the 40
yeah.
seconds is
We did our
expected.
best to end it faster and it went the opposite way. These things happen. This is terrible, especially at funerals when they tell you it'll be over in half an hour, it just goes on and on. Sorry to bring that up, but really, I don't understand why you want to make death into a long situation. How does that help?
Well,
And in the
how
West,
does
sometimes they sing songs and they want to chat and tell stories. I saw this Muhammad Ali tribute. It was quite nice, actually, in bits, but it just went on and on. I was like, he could have
so
fought
I
12
think
rounds.
tributes are different now. I mean, like a funeral itself is not that long, is
That,
it?
that's true. That's true. No, I've been to one which went on for hours where people were talking. And then they ask you to talk, and you're not prepared because you don't have anything nice to say because you hardly know the person. So then, what do you say? You have to make up things on the spot, and you can't just have a
That's always
generic. He
fun.
was a great guy. He was a superb man. He was really nice. He was very nice to me. So I made up. I had to
Is
lie. I had to make up a story that never happened. I don't know what the story was, but I think it involved football, and I mean, and I just gave it
Saved my
a
life
funny
once.
something literally like that,
Yeah.
some silly quippy thing and get out of there because that they want you to say something silly quippy. Obviously,
yeah.
they don't want you to
Yeah.
come and just bore them for 5 minutes. So I had to make up something. Hope he forgives me, but that's if there's life after death. I mean, we don't even know. Right now, I'm thinking you're just a bunch of worms, just dust. You can say what you want. Silvery, do you believe in life after death?
I mean, I don't know what's there, and so maybe I don't know. I don't
There's
know.
so many
I
questions
really
that aren't answered. Like, for example, if you died and you went to heaven, in heaven,
don't.
would you get hemorrhoids? Like, would you get piles? I mean, how does that work? I mean, is it all good, or do you still get certain amount of pain? You know, do you
So I imagine
scratch?
in
I
heaven
scratch
you
a
don't have
lot.
to eat. You don't have to eat. You don't have
What?
to sleep.
That's a
It's not
pleasure.
required. It's a
What?
pleasure. If you want it, you can have it, but you don't need to sustain yourself. I feel in heaven, if there is a heaven.
Man, I don't like your
So
heaven.
none of this would be
Your heaven is
none
very
of this would
leftist.
affect you
I'll tell you why it's
because you don't
leftist.
have
It's
a physical
almost, yeah,
body anymore,
really.
right?
We don't have restaurants. We believe that people were starving on earth and also no restaurants. I'm like, what? I ate meals a
Yeah.
day. I want to go to hell. Hell, they're like burning people. Have a bite. He's from Uganda. Lovely guy. Yeah. Oh man, I know you guys are ridiculous, really. Oh, seriously, if there really is a heaven, these are questions nobody thinks about. The living day-to-day conditions. Do you have a landlord? Do you have a lift that works? Do you walk up steps? What about that? I mean, nobody thinks about that. It's always about virgins. Virgins. Who wants bloody virgins? What do you do with virgins? The virgin is a virgin once. Then your whole job is over. You waited and waited. Virgin, 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 virgin. 2 minutes later, there's no virgin. That's it. A lift. For 40 years in heaven, you can go up by pressing a button, or with our luck, it'll be 11th floor. Of course, there'll be lift maintenance. Some guy from hell will come to bother you. Aaj band hai. Why did they take a day? Nobody explains why they take a day to repair a lift. Surely today they can do it in 15, 20 minutes. Why does it take a day? Aaj band hai,
Because
repair, maintenance. Huh.
people don't come. Basically, my building lift was shut for 2 days. Fuckers didn't come, man. It's so
But
irritating. 2 days we
why
had
don't?
only one lift operating,
Yeah, that's true. Do you guys have the paper sign outside like we have? They have this paper sign, lift
which
not
they stick on
working,
the door.
which is
Yeah,
stick on. I mean, it's like a
yeah.
5-year-old has put it together. Flats are worth 15, 20 crores, and the freaking paper sign saying lift not working. So it'll be 1 crore off, as far as I'm concerned. Right. Where were we?
Let's get
Yeah,
to one
man.
topic
Shana's story.
before we go to the AMAs.
Let's
Huh.
go
My
to
Shana
let's
story was about, no, about this whole thing. What did you call it when you try to please the other person by dumbing down your English or speaking the accent? You were saying
code switching.
so code switching, the only person I know who doesn't do it at all is Shanaz. And it's
Okay.
amazing because we were in the middle of Lucknow in UP, talking to only men in chaste Hindi or trying to. And so I immediately try to put on my slightly North Indian inflection so they can understand what I'm saying. And my bad language is swallowed by that. So I'm, "ठीक है, ऐसा करो यार, मैं तो ऐसा करता, मैंने वहां से आता," and I talk in my style. And then she comes on and says, "Hi guys," in pure English after we've told it 12 times. Hi, I'm Shanaz. So what are we talking about today? And no change in accent, nothing. Just a Bandra girl from Pali Hill who's,
Yeah.
born in with a silver spoon. In a way, you got to admire that, I mean, just straight out. Of course, they loved her because she's really pretty and she's really nice. One of the nicest people you ever meet. So they would just, and then then it happened. The opposite effect. They switched to bad English to please her. And so then you got this Lakshman Tripathi struggling with, Madam ji, ऐसा बात है कि what's your favorite time of day? And she's like, what did he say, Cyrus? It's a favorite time of day. Oh, day. I'm thinking, oh God, if I
I
try
don't
that, they
know.
will lynch me. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know if that's a Shanaz thing. Sorry, if that's a code switching thing or a Shanaz thing, right? I think that's a Shanaz thing. They
No,
want to
but
please
it's,
Shanaz.
yeah, but it's a code switch that happened because they then switched into we have 4 words, we'll use them. That's it. To please beautiful woman. And beautiful, but she's lovely.
She
It
is.
takes a
She's
lot of
fantastic. Yeah.
personality courage that you don't get taken in. There's a certain political breeze that blows when you try to please the other person, but you're not in that. You're in a separate bubble where you're just you. And you remained you. I mean, that takes a lot. How many people do you know like that who can just be you anywhere in the world? And it's
Yeah.
sincere about it. She's not putting on an act. No, she's just Shanaz and happy to be
No, no.
Shanaz.
She
Yeah.
seems really nice. I've only spoken to her a few times. She seems really nice, though. I mean,
Yeah.
and
And
very
she's still very
friendly.
pretty. The
Yes.
years have moved on because we were in college, not too much apart. I won't take ages and all that ever, but she's very, very attractive at this age,
Yeah.
whatever. Which Shanaz, if you're watching, is very young, so it makes no sense to say it. Huh.
Yeah. Of course.
Lakshman Tripathi and me will not be having a good day.
Have we
But
had
what is
her
good
on this
day?
show? Have we
We
had her
have
on
we
this
have
show?
had we've had her on one show, on a podcast,
Okay. All right. We had her
on
on the
with
show.
her.
Okay.
Silvery wasn't in then. The moment he's come, it's been
Okay.
only men for some reason, and he chooses. So do the
No,
max.
not really. It's
If you were
we
in
just recorded
Afghanistan,
so many episodes.
you and Arnav will be on that 5th floor of that hotel, playing darts.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay. What's our next one? Oh, should we do the AMA? It's already 6:45 past.
Let's do one topic. We didn't get to an actual like proper topic, and we need to do
You
this
guys
since the
don't.
last. two
You
times.
did an ad for 15 minutes, which
Yeah.
we
Oh,
both
sorry.
agreed.
My bad. My
We
bad.
agreed it was too long anyway, and it just went on and it's still going on. Artificial intelligence is still
Oh,
being talked about. Yeah.
yeah. All right. So we've known this
Oh
for a while.
shit! Listen,
Huh.
guys. Sorry. As you talk, I'm going to send you a picture. I have to send you a picture, Silvery, which
Okay.
I
Okay.
want you to put on if you can. Okay, but you finish
Okay. Okay.
talking. I don't want to hold you up. Yeah. Oh, you got
Okay.
to put
No,
this
no
on.
worries. Okay. I was saying, anyone from Mumbai will attest to this, that because we already know this, but now it's official. The world has recognized this, that Mumbai is the most stressful city to drive in. This research was done by a UK car sharing company called Car, and the the factors that they took into consideration were the number of cars per capita, total number of vehicles in the city, severity of traffic congestion, quality of the roads, public transportation, number of traffic accidents per year, and the city density. So basically, any factor that you can think
and
of that could
and
affect
above
traffic.
all, the amount of galis and marriages and friendships that break up
Yeah,
while driving.
yeah,
Everything
and
happens inside the
yeah,
car,
and
the backseat driving, the
processions in
backseat
this in the middle of the road.
processions and all that. Okay, now
Yeah, yeah.
quickly take a look at that because I don't know we won't have time for AMAs otherwise. And if you can
Okay,
just
okay.
share the screen. No, you got no, please, you got to
One
share.
second.
Okay, and then
One
I
second.
want to just tell you
Just
what
sharing.
this was.
Just sharing. Just sharing. One second. One second.
This is, I think, the most humane photograph
No.
I have seen
Yeah.
in many years. It just
Yeah.
shows you the spirit of Mumbai, the spirit of Maharashtra. It's called it because it's Ajanta Ellora. And despite two pandemics, we are back and, we're doing the right thing. And Kunal sent us this picture from
Can
Ajanta
you see this?
Ellora. And my wife and I, we were very troubled. And, and guys, I have to tell you, hand on heart. My old mother was like doing my mother does this thing like I mean just feeling bad for them, like as in everybody's going, just look at them, they look like. And then this is what he sent. I don't have that text, but he actually said, no, but please understand, they were talking to me and saying they've had no work for a year, so am I doing my bit for the economy? So this caption is doing my bit for the economy. All right. And how smug he looks.
Yeah, he does. He
I
looks
could
very
I
happy.
could never have four people put me on a palki. I mean, it's not. I mean, and look at them. This is the disparity of India that the West, gloats about. That no matter what we do in our science and our IT and this is sports or whatever, IPL, you have that, but you also have this. And look at it. It's the most vulgar picture you'll ever see. Oh, but it was very steep. And before that, he sent us a message saying we are all going trekking. Half an hour before that. And this, my friends, is the trek.
He's
This
going
is what he means
trekking.
by we all. Really.
Oh
I don't
man.
know. So when you want to say India Garib Desh hai and all, please send these photos abroad. Okay, because yes, it is, but there are also people like this, the mandarins of Mumbai who run the country. Check out the shoes, by the way. The sandals or something cost them 6,000
Yeah.
bucks. Can
Wow.
you? Yeah.
Birkenstocks.
Yeah, whatever the hell they are. Now look at the sandals on the other guy. I mean, just this is India, man. I'm doing my bit for the economy. Put the caption and leave it on the podcast side on your IBM website, please.
Oh man.
Kunal is never funny. He never tries to be funny. He's not the guy who wants to please you to laugh or anything like that. In fact, it's always fake laughter when he does all that crap. He is being sincere and honest. I'm doing my bit for the economy. My own mother, who's almost 80 years old, was shaking. She does this with her hand when she feels scared. When watching cricket or scary movie, she does like this. She was looked at the photo and her whole hand started shaking. It's like, I'm so sorry. And I apologize to everybody out there that they had to be put through this. Oof, what a picture. Okay, should we do AMAs?
Yes. Yes. Let's go to
Yes.
you.
Amit, sorry. Would you do this, Amit? You're larger, you're a hefty guy end of
No,
the day.
I haven't.
And but that not being the point, don't you feel it's a little like it's medieval to be carried in a palki and all? It's
I
just
am not comfortable with it at all. At all.
yeah.
I went to Palitana like maybe 20 years ago. I don't do religious stuff often, right? But about 20 years, so Palitana is like this Jain
Yeah, and they put
mountain
you
that
in
you're
that thing.
supposed
I've seen it. Yeah.
yeah, so you're supposed to climb the mountain, or you can go
Yeah.
via Doli or
Yeah.
something like that, right?
Doli. That's what it's called in
Yeah,
our part of the world. Yeah.
yeah. And I was just like, dude, I'm not asking. Nobody's picking me up and taking me there. I can't do that.
Did you
I'll walk
climb?
up or I'll not go. Yeah, I climbed.
Not go is
It's
a
an hour.
great option. Not go is a great
Yeah,
option. You don't want to suffer, don't suffer. Yeah.
yeah. No, so I went for
Amazing.
it ain't that long. You go early in the morning. It's not hot. It's like an hour and a half walk. There is some climbing, but it's not like brutal.
But this Kunal Singh was like an ultimate bakra. He set it up as I'm going trekking, which firstly is impressive because he was not known to be a trekker. Then, after seeing the picture, it doesn't feel there's anything wrong with it. He said, I'm doing my bit for the economy. They didn't have work for 6 months. I'm doing my bit. That's how he justified it. So, with that one day work carrying the great Mandarin up and down.
But Kunal also has like a knee issue, no, right now.
No, no, he
So I mean,
can't
like,
climb for many reasons, but
yeah.
then don't
So then,
go.
well,
Okay,
fair,
let's leave
fair.
it. Let's leave it. Let's leave it. To each their own. The comment section will start again, whether he's right or wrong. Silvery, come on, let's do the
All right.
AMAs.
Sure, sure. This one comes in from Shubham Balodi. He says, on the England tour, the physio tested positive and India decided to pull out of the
Yeah,
series.
he's right.
At
I
the
don't have to
IPL,
read it. He's right.
yeah, at the
He's right.
IPL, a player has tested positive and they are still going ahead. Does this give a wrong signal?
Yeah, and also the fact is that match went on. Yesterday's match.
Yeah.
I hope if you're not seeing this live, the SRH match, Sunrisers match, was on that day, the morning of which they've discovered that Natarajan has it. The bowler, he's played for India, and the match went on itself, which had the players who are friends and colleagues of his on that very day of him getting it. Which, by the same logic, we didn't play the Manchester Test because the second physio, whose name I now forget, massaged and touched all these guys during the Test match, and then got it. And then 3 days later, 2 days later, they were playing the next Test. So it's the same logic. The time frame is the same people, the same geography, everything. So yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, I
We'll
don't
do
think
the
it's
maths.
sending a. But I mean, like his question says, does this give a wrong signal? I don't think so. I think it's
It
very
gives a wrong
apparent what
signal to
happened.
the hypocrisy of Indian cricket, to the guys who hate us. And there's
But I
plenty
think,
in the on the other side, let's say the
yeah.
former great powers, without naming them, who are a little jealous and angry with India's rise as a
Mhm.
behemoth. And these things expose us a little bit. You can't deny the fact that I wanted us to play that test so badly. We were on top.
Mhm.
Makes no sense to me. It could,
Yeah, it was.
because this is the same thing. This is Amit House is not the same thing.
It is 100% the same thing. But I'm just saying that, I mean, like what they did in England was a absolute naked power play. It was nothing but that, right? We are more powerful than the England board is right now. We're going to do what we want to do and screw you. So, I mean, like there was no, I don't feel like there's, like when you're so blatant about your kind of like action here, I don't see how it's hypocrisy. It was very clearly that this is, hey, we can do this. We're going to do this because we can.
The sad part is, as a test cricket lover, I'm the one who suffers really. I don't even get into the petty jingoism of it, or we are now powerful enough, or we are bullying them, or the Western complex is over it that you're being a bully or whatever. For me, it's just a test match went out of the window for a freaking
Well,
2020 game. And there you, so Amit, you
well,
win. Your franchise spot is going to overtake us,
yes,
because
yes,
it literally market dictates. If you look at it from critical point of view, money dictated this reason more
yeah.
than anything else. There's much more at stake money wise with both back to back big tournaments. This followed by the World Cup in the same area. So
Yeah.
that's it. The Test match will never
Well,
get those kind of eyeballs.
it never will, and it shouldn't because it's 5 days versus 4 hours. I mean, like it really is. It's a qualitative difference in terms of what your
Not
engagement
only,
needs to
not
be.
only, I'll be honest with you, Indians who follow Test cricket also watch it in bits and pieces. Okay,
Yeah,
nobody can put aside 5 days, and
yeah,
then when it's coming close to a humdinger finish or whatever, people, like we did for the Brisbane Test or the couple of tests we won in England, those crucial moments, word gets around, you text people, and then suddenly you're watching the game.
yeah,
So that is there. The eyeballs can never. Here you've got late evening, work is sort of done. Most people can just watch.
yeah,
This is cricket getting as close to American games as possible. 3 hours and you're done. That's it.
yeah.
Yeah, it's very
But
sad. I don't know. They
I
should
mean,
let
like
us play.
see, that's the thing, right, Cyrus? Do you think that sports has some deeper romantic aspect to it, or is it an entertainment product?
It's too late for me. I'm unnecessarily one of those cricket romantic, tragic romantics, whatever you want to call us. So I will suffer. But this next generation may not be like that. They will prefer the
They
2020
won't,
format, and that's it. So then
because
we are
that's
just
all they
old.
know.
So then we don't matter, because as we die, these things die with us. The old order changes, yielding place to the new, and God fulfills himself in many ways. Lest one good custom should corrupt the world. That line being the most important one from Tennyson. Less one good
Okay.
custom should corrupt the world. So that's what happens. We think it's great romance and all, but then it's lived its time like the mammoth, and it has to go. And then the new elephant comes, and that's where we are. God, I sound so erudite when I want to.
I
It's all that
know.
AI. I tell you guys, it was that one ad which has changed me. 80 hours to go. 80 hours to go. Let's see how it turns out. All right, next one.
All right, next one comes from Artik Shetty. He says, "Hey guys, with Seinfeld coming to Netflix, which episodes are your personal favorites?
Seinfeld's coming to
Especially
Netflix.
Cyrus's.
So
Yeah,
I have
who's
Seinfeld and Blackadder. I have the complete work somewhere back
oh
from
wow,
my from the days when you didn't have Netflix. So I have them. I also have a lot of Raymond,
oh
but not all seasons. But Seinfeld, I have everything. Blackadder, I have everything, because I believe these are
yeah,
1 and 2 ranking for me, the two greatest shows ever. So I have to have them. So when my
Okay.
marriage fails and all that, then I can turn to Blackadder. And when he
Blackadder is
fills up
great.
Baldwin's form for standing for elections, what's your name? It is
Do you
sort of,
do you know the story of
sort
Blackadder?
of.
Do you know the story of
Meaning?
Blackadder of why Rowan Atkinson got that role?
Oh, you mean
So he
how that?
so they
No, tell
created
me.
so Rowan Atkinson was one of the creators of the show, right? He wrote
Right.
was part of the writing team, and he wrote the character Blackadder. And during the rehearsals, initially he would just do the character, and then when casting was going on, they couldn't find someone who was as good. And just because he couldn't find someone who was as good, he ended up doing the role, even though he didn't really want to. And then he
Oh,
nailed it, and then the rest is history. And that was his
his
first biggest like
it's
first big role.
just I love that portrayal. The fact that he looks down on everyone and he looks.
Yeah,
I mean, it's just the way he does it, just fabulous. It's just oh god, and
yes,
the dynamic between the two of them, Baldrick and him, is
Baldrick, yeah.
fabulous. And
And Hugh Laurie
Seinfeld.
is also great in that. Yeah,
Oh, he's
They,
fantastic.
Laurie.
The
Yeah,
one where he gets upset when Julius Caesar is being performed and the king gets
yeah,
Caesar gets killed and he says, "Attack! Stop that man! Catch that man!" He stops the play because he's the king and
yes,
doesn't want that to
yeah.
happen. Um, but Seinfeld, I mean Seinfeld, what are you talking about, bro? I mean, literally they made a shot of nothing, as they say. It's nothing, and it's just that. I mean, God, guy in the balloon, I mean, the boy in the bubble. I've been corrected from
Bubble Boy, yeah,
headquarters. Bubble
Bubble
boy.
Boy,
And the
yeah,
fact that they're going hammer and tongs at the end and they're fighting and all the empathy is gone out of it. And notice how quickly George's empathy goes. That's so well
yeah,
written. I think that's more Larry David. It's just
yeah, yeah.
fantastic. I just love Soup Nazi isn't that one of the greatest episodes the world could ever see in any form? I mean,
That one
Soup
is
no
great.
soup
Nazi
for
was.
you. No
The
soup
That's
for
marine
you.
why
biologist, marine
Yeah,
biologist is
marine
one of my
Marine
favorite
biologist.
ones.
biologist is great.
That is,
That
I really
ending
like.
where the whale
yeah,
is
it is
beached, and
the
then
golf.
she turns and says, "Don't worry, my boyfriend is a marine biologist," and they
Yeah,
close on
yeah,
his face.
yeah.
So I really
Oh, that's
enjoyed
so good.
the parking lot episode, right? Where the real
That's a
time
great
Oh,
one.
episode.
the wheelchair,
Great,
the
great.
wheelchair.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the one in real time, and then
Yeah.
there's
The
obviously
Chinese restaurant one is similar to the
yeah.
parking lot
Oh,
one. The Chinese
Yeah.
restaurant
oh,
one, where they
the
just at the
waiting.
Chinese restaurant
Yeah,
and
it's
then
all about the
yeah,
wait. Yeah.
yeah.
Where's the one with Elaine's father shows up somewhere? That one was also really hilarious. I can't remember. He turns out to be like this Ernest Hemingway type writer kind of guy. Uh, Man, I think it was an early episode, but that was a really good
Although
one
now that you
too.
mentioned Jerry Stiller, Ben Stiller's dad, who plays
Wow.
George's
Certainly
dad,
Just about
now. Yeah,
that
great.
the man bra, what is it called?
Yeah, man,
uh,
Brazier, Brazier.
The no, it's called some the
no,
man
Uh,
bra,
no, no, I forgot. Yeah,
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 the bro, huh? What is it called?
no, it
Where
wasn't called the bro.
he and
I
Kramer come
forgot.
together. I mean, what that?
Yeah,
He's wearing it when the wife walks in because he's showing Kramer
yeah,
The Manzier.
the
That's what it was called. It
Manzier.
was called the
Yeah,
Manzier.
you checked
yeah.
Then the other one, like I mean, like we
the
haven't
ugly
mentioned
baby.
like
The ugly baby
the
one
ugly
was on
baby
the
was
point of
funny.
view of the baby, and they all make faces. I love that because I find that
Yeah,
so many babies are not nice looking, and people just keep going on about it.
I know.
He's so sweet.
Also,
Yeah.
the Master of
Uh,
Your Own Domain, Master of Your Domain, the
that's the
one where
one.
they, yeah,
Yeah, the contest.
great. That was
Yeah.
like apparently a path breaking episode for its time
Mm. It
because
was.
they.
I saw it live. I saw
Oh
it when
wow,
it was
when
on
it came out.
television. I was in the US in
Oh, the
college
Wow.
when it
episode was
came out.
live. You mean?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, as in like I saw it on the on television, and I was
Yeah.
not expecting it. Had no idea what was coming in front of us, and in college, doing collegey things, so not in
Yeah.
my senses, if you will. And it was. I don't think that me and the group of friends I was with them ever laughed harder. Like it
wow.
was like just non-stop and like crying for like half an hour episode after. And Seinfeld
What
had
about
just started getting popular, so VCR
Wow.
recording. We were I had recorded the episode while we were watching it. We watched it 10 minutes later. We watched it again.
Wow.
It got over,
Great.
and we
what?
watched it again 10 minutes
What
later.
about the girl who can't be heard? What a concept that is.
That
Again,
was
Larry
great.
David, if you
Yeah,
see
Yeah,
Curb Your
the slow
Enthusiasm,
low
it's
talker.
so
Yeah,
Larry David, the low talker, because he has to
yeah.
know
No, no,
is the second date
the
on or
show.
not? I mean,
Yeah,
that's just so fabulous. Then
there's
the one
so
where
many.
he's Kramer's coaching the Miss America pageant thing. Oh, I mean, he's also involved.
The
And
one with Terry Hatcher. They're real and they're spectacular.
yeah,
yeah,
that one.
yes, yes.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
G-
great.
where he sends Elaine into the ladies to check out if the boobs are real and all.
Yeah,
Oh man.
yeah.
And then
So
yeah,
much.
that end is lovely because it ends on his
Oh,
disappointment.
the one with the opposite. The one where George decides that he'll say the opposite of whatever what he's
Yeah,
supposed to do,
yeah,
Whatever he's
and
yeah.
supposed
then
to do.
in
Yes.
the end he ends up getting a job with the Yankees because he tells
Yes.
the
That
owner of
whole
the Yankees
Yankee
that you
track,
suck at his job and
he
all.
doesn't know what he's doing, what he's in
Yeah.
charge of. Yeah,
Oh,
oh,
he sleeps under the desk at the when he gets the
yeah,
job. That's another
yeah.
great episode. When he
What was
gets the carpenter to make a area under the desk so he can fall
And the voice
asleep
of
during
Yankee
lunch break.
is Larry David's voice. I think him
Yeah, yeah,
as
yeah.
well. They never
Yeah,
show the
that is
face.
Larry
Yeah,
David. You're right.
it's
Yeah, that
Larry
is Larry
David's
that
David.
voice. Yeah.
the one
Yeah.
where Kramer and Newman take all those cans to a different city so that
Oh,
different state so they can
right,
recycle
Yeah.
right,
more?
right.
Oh man, so good.
No, there are a ton of them. Seinfeld is one of the
Yeah,
best always, isn't it?
yeah, absolutely.
Fabulous. A 9-year run. That's a long time.
Yeah.
without dropping, except for that final episode. I think the final episode just didn't cut it for some reason, but that's okay, I guess.
I've never seen the last season. Like, never seen that ninth season.
Last season is a
I
The
very
wa-
strong
jail, the
season,
jail
except for
episode.
the
You haven't seen the jail
last
episode?
episode.
huh?
Oh, the lawyer, the African American lawyer, is hilarious. I love him.
Great,
He was
great.
there
Yeah.
in the
So
Yeah.
villain.
yeah, so the Johnny Cochran
Fabulous.
based Kramer's lawyer.
Yeah. Lovely,
Yeah.
lovely.
No, but I've
He's more
never seen
wired
that.
than Kramer.
I never saw the ninth season. I never
But you
saw
got to
it.
see it. What's wrong with you? You must see it.
I don't know,
Yeah.
but I feel like I want to go back and watch the whole thing. Right? I want to
That
watch the
yeah.
entire thing, and that just feels like a time investment.
So
So I
so
haven't
the
done it.
two the three shows that my son and I enjoyed and my daughter together, at whatever age, Simpsons,
Mhm.
Apu Onu Apu, Seinfeld, and Blackadder, and to some extent Raymond. These would be the top four. Yeah.
Wow, very good.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I think I'd already moved back to India by the time the ninth season happened, and I didn't. I was unable to get the video cassettes or DVDs or whatever. Right?
98,
That sounds about
98,
yeah.
99.
I moved back to India in '97, so
Yeah,
that sounds
98,
about right,
99 was
right?
the last
Yeah.
last.
So
Yeah.
so when I moved after I moved back, I didn't immediately get the Seinfeld tapes, right? I mean, like Seinfeld tapes came out like you weren't getting tapes till like 2002, 2003 over here, DVDs and tapes and stuff like that. At which point I felt like I haven't seen it. It's been too long since I've seen all the older episodes. I want to watch
Mm.
it from scratch, and I never got around to doing that. I
What
need
about
to do
that?
it.
There's a real great piece of satire is when they ever mention homosexuality. Not that there's anything wrong with that.
Wrong
But
with
that
it.
we used to do that amongst our friends also all the time.
Yeah.
He's gay, by the way. Not that there's anything wrong with that. You got to have that disclaimer immediately. That's
Yeah.
fabulous. Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah. Yeah, I'm a
way
huge.
too
I
many.
think Seinfeld as a stand-up, not so much okay, but Seinfeld as the show, fantastic. And Larry David should be given
Larry David
credit
too
also.
is
Both of them
amazing.
together. Let's not do Paul,
Yeah,
John, and
correct.
Paul on it, but yeah,
But Larry
together.
David went on to create another great
Curb
kick-ass
Your
show,
Enthusiasm.
which is again a beautiful, beautiful show.
I love that.
Uh,
It comes in my top five.
and the
I'm
best
not a
reunion,
fan.
by the way. You're not a fan
Hmm.
of Curb?
I'm not a fan
You
of
don't like
Curb at
Curb?
all. I don't
Oh
like Curb
No,
at
man,
all.
no.
oh
He's
man,
I've seen
lovely. I
his.
relate
I've
to him
seen
so
his season.
much.
so
Doesn't want
funny.
to go for dinner. Doesn't want to meet
One of
people.
the
I
best
feel like
reunions.
Seinfeld.
Like so, sorry, Seinfeld has the one of the best reunions because they didn't do it as like a standalone reunion. They did it
Yeah,
on Curb Your Enthusiasm.
Curb, right.
The seventh season of
Yeah.
Curb is a Seinfeld reunion, basically season,
Although they
and it's
drop in
just a
before that
great
also,
reunion.
most of them. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
No,
yeah,
so
exactly. They
my
dropped it
my
before that. Yeah.
my issue was like Seinfeld was as cringy as I want to get. Right, Curb takes that to like 3 degrees further, and I
Also,
just feel like that
Mm.
I
gets
think
too
maybe you
much
don't
in
like
the.
Larry's character as much as you like
Huh,
the four in Seinfeld.
that is
In
also
terms of
very
how
possible.
endearing they are,
Yeah,
because that's important. Because he's a little
yeah,
scummy and slimy also. Where
Yeah.
while George is, he's still innocent slimy. There's an
yeah,
innocence because he's such a loser. Yeah. But
yeah.
Like
my wife and I
but
love Curb.
on Curb, all the dialogue is improvised almost
Yeah.
completely. They don't have a physical script on stage
Yeah, I know.
on
Great.
set.
I've heard that.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
There are a
they
couple.
just have
There's
like
another.
basic outlines.
Yeah.
Sorry,
Mm.
which are
No,
you
there
talking
was
about?
another show which does the same thing. They basically copied it from Curb. I'm trying to remember what that was. It's one of the modern sitcoms.
Always Sunny? It's not Always
I'll
Sunny.
tell
No,
you, it's
I
called the
think it
9
was.
p.m. show on Republic. All improvised. All improvised.
I think it's the show done by the people who did Parks and Recreation and Brooklyn Nine-Nine
Uh,
with the guy from The Hangover, the tall guy from
Jason Sudeikis.
Ed
no, not
Helms.
Sudeikis, Ed
Ed
Helms, yeah,
Helms.
with Ed Helms in it.
Dude,
It's
I also get
bas-
confused between Jason Sudeikis and Ed Helms though.
it's
Cyrus. I was done.
Huh?
the one in the Native American casino set one. Oh, God, I can't remember. It's a new show. It came out like just a year ago or so.
You need
But I
AI
think
to
it
help
is.
you. And we have
Yeah, I
this
do.
ad which will explain how you can understand AI better. And then you'll be able to resource this at your fingertips and not waste time going this, that, and scratching your head. Guys, it's
Yeah.
7:04. May I be dismissed?
Yes, sure.
So let me tell
Okay,
you
one more
this. We
fast. Come on.
have no,
Huh.
no, no. I'm just saying right now we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 comments asking how is Cyrus still here for it when it's dinner time for him.
But 4 of them are from home.
Cyrus
Aditya
खाने
says
में क्या है?
winner,
Okay,
winner.
last
Is it winner,
last
winner
question,
or winner,
Cyrus.
winner size? Huh?
Cyrus
खाने में
खाने में
क्या
क्या
है?
है? Is last question. Yeah, खाने में क्या है?
I think we have some kind of what do you call it? Irish stew. Do you know what an Irish stew is? So it's a
uh,
white. See, no, you got to learn continental food also, bro. You're going to live abroad, Silvery.
Okay.
You're going to be a stand-up comedian.
Yeah,
There's no life
yeah.
for you here. Yeah.
Tell me,
So back in
yeah.
Poland, where you'll be performing next, you need to pick up your skills. So it's a white. Between you and me, I really like the white yogurt sauce. Whether it's in Lebanese form, what do you call that? In the white
tahini.
sauce. Yeah,
Tahini.
Mm.
which we put in everything from shawarma to the kebabs and all
Yeah.
that. Whether it's in Chinese, I like the lighter sauce again, which is what is it? it's almost transparent in,
Yeah,
in Chinese
the
cooking. It's
oyster
almost
sauce.
like yeah, oyster sauce. That's right. I like that. And in obviously all the Mughlai dishes which have the white paste, which is again
Malai
yogurty.
kofta.
Yeah, exactly that. And so this is similar. The stew is similar. It's got that gravy and lots of aloo. I'm a big aloo fan. Hey guys, I bet now you
Okay.
can't discuss this and not go and eat. Come on.
That's all
Okay,
right.
cool,
Cool.
All
cool.
right then.
Yeah.
In the words of Elvis Presley, it's now or never. Bye bye.